Good afternoon, students. I hope you understood the last chapter and question answer also. Now we are going to see the second chapter, but in that few contents, few units we have studied, and in that paragraphs the 1960s and also the 1970s, and also about the emergency decision by Indira Gandhi from the lesson India events after 1960. So what exactly happened after 1960, the incidents, about them we have studied few concepts, few information we have collected. Now remaining part we will continue. So first of all we will see the second chapter, India events after 1960. India the period exactly shows that the changes took place or some very important events took place during this period after 1960. I already told you that in this year we are studying the post-independence period. After the independence, that post-independence period, what kind of changes happens into the country, that we all are going to study now. So when the Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister, during his tenure, what kind of changes took place, that we have studied. About the war between India and Pakistan regarding the issue of Kashmir, that took place during the tenure of Lal Bahadur Shastri. That time he was a Prime Minister. Now third one, that Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in 1966, and during his tenure he started one of the national emergency into the whole India for few reasons. So that all reasons also we have studied in first paragraph. Now that only I want to revise you what happened exactly, and then after we are going to study the paragraph regarding to the Rajiv Gandhi, the next Prime Minister, and about his tenure. So now first of all we will see about Indira Gandhi's emergency decisions. During this decade, the political situation in India grew unstable. The Allahabad High Court gave the verdict in 1974 that Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister, had misused the government machinery during her election campaign, and it led to nationwide strikes and protests against the government of Indira Gandhi. During this period, the situation became more complicated due to the situation became more complicated due to the movement of law and order. the country worst and government declared the state of national emergency on the basis of constitutional provisions relating to the emergency. During this turbulent period, the fundamental rights of citizens were suspended. Due to the emergency, the Indian administration became disciplined, but the human rights were restricted. The period of national emergency lasted for 1975 to 1977, and after that general election were held into the India. So exactly if we focus, so what are the purpose or reason behind the starting national emergency into India by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi? So there is a objection of High Court. There is a verdict of High Court on Indira Gandhi that she had used the government machinery illegally. Illegally she used that, and due to that, into the whole India, the strikes and protests were started, and for that, the end of protection of law and rights, she started the national emergency into our country. So this is the incident, and this emergency were lasted for 2 years, 1975 to 1977. On the backdrop of the emergency, many opposition parties came together and formed a party called the Janata Party. During this period, in the background, many were the parties came together and they formed their own party. Many of the small organizations came together and they formed their own regional party, that is called Janata Party. The Congress party led by Indira Gandhi was roundly defeated by this newly formed Janata Party. And whatever ruling party is there, Congress, that party was defeated by Janata Party into the elections. That Janata Party was newly formed. Morarji Desai became the Prime Minister, but under his leadership, the Janata Party government couldn't last long due to the internal differences. There is a lot of internal conflict and difference between the political parties. Due to that, they could not succeed for long lasting the administration. And now Charan Singh succeeded him, but even his government was a short-lived one. Elections were conducted once again in 1980, and on the Congress party under the leadership of Indira Gandhi came to power again. After the government of Morarji Desai, Charan Singh succeeded and he took charge. He won in the election and he took the charge of Indian administration, and then he also not successful to run the government, and after that again one time elections were held, and this time the Congress party of Indira Gandhi got success and they came into the power. These all incidents took or came into the period of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Now we are going to see, students, the 1980s, and all tenure is regarding to our ex-Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi. Now we will see about 1980s all period and what changes were took place during that period. During this decade, the Indian political system faced many new challenges. The Sikhs in Punjab demanded an independent state of Khalistan and began a movement which went on became a violent and destructive. Few of the organizations from the Punjab, they demanded, Sikh people demanded from Punjab, they need a separate Khalistan, and for that demand they did the strikes, and after that strikes were converted into the violent destructives. Pakistan had lent its support to this movement, and Pakistan during that period want to take a benefit of it, and that Khalistan got a support by Pakistan. The Indian army was sent into the Golden Temple at Amritsar, a holy shrine of Sikhs in 1984, to evict the terrorists who had allegedly taken shelter there. One of the bodyguards in Indira Gandhi's personal security assassinated her. During this period, an organization called United Liberation Front of Assam, Alpha, carried on a major movement in Northeast India. So, to remove or take out the terrorists from the Golden Temple, Indira Gandhi sent an army into the Golden Temple to take out the terrorists who took shelter into that. Right after Indira Gandhi's 1984, Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India. He tried to make several reforms in the field of Indian economy, that of science and technology. He took the lead of solving the issue of the Tamil minority in Sri Lanka. He promoted the idea of united Sri Lanka with the internal autonomy to the Tamil community, but his efforts in regard proved to be in vain. Many were the issues regarding to the minority community tried to solve by Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, but he could not succeed into his attempts. He faced a lot of criticism in the context of corruption that took place during the defense equipment deal, especially the purchase of long-range cannons from a foreign company called Bofors. Political corruption became a crucial issue in the general election that followed, and the Congress party was defeated. Many were the corruption issues were forced on Rajiv Gandhi, and taking the benefit of this incident or this event, Congress, another party into the election, they got a victory, and Congress had to see the face of failure. Several political parties formed a coalition called a Janata Dal, and Vishwanath Pratap Singh became the next Prime Minister of India. Several another small parties came together with a coalition, and they formed the government, and through that they made the Prime Minister to the Vishwanath Pratap Singh. The policy for providing reservations for the backward classes, OBC, is considered to be his most important contribution. So one of the person, Vishwanath Charan Singh, started the reservation for the OBC class. His contribution is valuable. He could not continue as a prime minister due to the internal difference in the party. Again, this party also had to face the internal conflict or internal differences, and due to that, his role as a prime minister, he could not succeed, or he could not take for a long period. In 1990, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister of India. His government was also short-lived. In 1991, during the election campaign, the terrorist organization in Sri Lanka, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, led assassinated Rajiv Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi was acquitted from Bipor's case by the court in 2004. Towards the end of decade of 1980s, the unrest in Jammu and Kashmir had begun. Again one time, after the end of 1980s, again one time, the environment of Jammu and Kashmir is polluted and their violence began for the federation. This problem grew seriously day by day, and today it has taken the form of terrorism. The terrorist activities there forced the Kashmir Pandits to leave the valley. Many of the terrorist forces are attacking and harassing to the Kashmir Pandits to leave that place, means Kashmir. This issue, still today India facing the problem about terrorism into the Kashmir valley. Next point we are going to see now about the changes after 1991. The year 1991 is held to be very important in the history of the world as well as India. The Soviet Union disintegrated into several different small countries and Cold War came to an end. India, the government under the leadership of Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, initiated many changes in the Indian economy. During this period, the Ram Jagambhumi and Babri Masjid issue at Ayodhya came to a forefront. In the elections conducted between 1996 to 1999, no political party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha. This resulted in three governments in a short span of time, those led by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, H.D. Deve Gowda and Inder Kumar Gujral were amongst them. Finally, in 1999, the National Democratic Alliance came to a power under a flag of Bharatiya Janata Party, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee became India's Prime Minister. Atal Bihari Vajpayee tried to establish a dialogue with Pakistan but was not successful. India conducted a number of nuclear tests in 1998 and declared herself as an atomic power. In 1990, there was another war between India and Pakistan in Kargil region over the Kashmir issue. India defeated Pakistan in this war as well. Second time India defeated Pakistan in this war as well. These were the changes we have studied till 1999. Now we are going to see the little bit different subject, that is Indian economy, and what kind of changes took place in economy that we are going to see now. Right from independence, the modernization of economy, economic self-sufficiency and social justice have been the characteristics of Indian economy. India wanted to acquire modernity and self-reliance by establishing industries. We all know that if we want a great growth or want to develop our economy, then we have to give more scope for the industrialization. We wanted to establish an economy based on social justice. Through the planning, for this National Planning Commission was established that would coordinate development through the policy of 5-year plans. The policy regarding the national economical development, that policy name is 5-year plan. The policy regarding to the economical development of India, that policy name is 5-year plan. The Narasimha Rao government started economic reforms from 1991. These economic reforms are called as economic liberalization. Economic liberalization, the Indian economy flourished as a result of the implementation for this policy. The foreign investment in India increased. Skilled Indian professionals helped reform the Indian economy. The field of information technology opened several avenues of employment in the country. The changes after 1991 are also described. Globalization. One of the main words used here, globalization. The changes. So what kind of changes took place for development of economy? That few are there. So that I will tell you once again, I want to revise you. The Indian economy flourished as a result of implementation of this policy. The foreign investment in India increased for the economic development. First point. Second, the skilled Indian professionals helped reform the Indian economy. Second point. Now third one, the field of information and technology opened several avenues of employment for the Indians. Through these all points, Indian economy took growth rapidly, and we can say afterward this is the one of the period of globalization. Now next point we are going to see here, science and technology. Two major events. First of all, we will see science and technology. Two major events must be mentioned while describing India's efforts towards self-reliance, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is known as the father of the Green Revolution in 1965. The father of Green Revolution, the father for the Indian science and technology is called M.S. Swaminathan. He implemented new scientific agricultural techniques and increased the production of food grains. M.S. Swaminathan introduced new techniques into the agriculture, and also he increased the production of food grains. The experiment in the cooperative dairy movement, the cooperative dairy movement by Dr. Verghese Kurien led to increase of milk production in India. This is called White Revolution. The strike, the movements for the milk production or increase the milk production in India, the movement is called White Revolution. Again one time I want to tell you, the experiment in cooperative dairy movement by Dr. Verghese Kurien led to increase of milk production. The experiment did by Verghese Kurien to increase the milk production, that experiment, that movement is called as White Revolution. Revolution means changes. Okay. After White Revolution we are going to see next point. India had also made a lot of progress in the field of atomic energy and the space research. Dr. Homi Bhabha laid the foundation of the Indian atomic power program. India insisted on using atomic energy for peaceful purposes like a generation of electricity, pharmaceuticals and defense. India has achieved considerable success in the space technology as well. In 1975, the first satellite, the Aryabhatta, was launched. Today, India has a successful space program and many satellites have been launched under this program. India has also made considerable achievement and advancement in the telecom sector. Now next point we are going to see changes in social field. Changes in social field. So mainly we have to focus on this word that is called social. So changes in the social field, what kind of changes took place, that also we are going to see now. During this period, there were several major changes in the social field of India. Some of the changes are related with the issue of empowerment of women. The empowerment, and firstly I told you to give a equal status to women. They also should come with the flow of humanity, flow with the flow of equality. So elsewhere we have to work and we have to improve the status of women. We have to give them chance in each and every field. They should work and they should get a equal status like men. So that's why the women empowerment programs also started by Indian government that we are going to study in next few lessons. And other are related with the policies regarding of uplift of deprived sections of the society. Many were the caste and communities are there. Today also they don't have that much good facility. They totally backward from the government policies, government facilities. So during that period, after the 1960, government started to focus on them and uplift their status, focus on backward classes who are the backward from the facilities, and give them basic necessary facilities, provide or fulfillment of their needs. To promote the all-round development of women and children, we have studied and we well know about the status of women in the past, about sati system and child labor. So government worked on it and they have banned these two systems, sati system and child labors. So elsewhere they focused on their status and given an opportunity to come with the flow of equality, and they focused the all-round development of these two units, women and children. A separate department of women and child development was created in 1985 under the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Some laws were made of ensure social justice to women and to help the implementation of various schemes in this direction. They include the Prohibition of Dowry Act, Equal Remuneration Act. As per the 73rd and 74th Constitution amendments, seats were reserved for women in the local self-government bodies. Some of the provisions are made for the women's, and government try to solve the issue of Dowry Act. They passed on Dowry Act, taking the money during the period of marriage, afterward harassing for the woman for the money, wealth or jewelry. This dowry system stopped by government by implementing new laws. And equal remuneration for the woman, equal opportunity in the remuneration. Whatever into the property, women also have equal opportunity, equal share with the men. These two major acts were started by government, Dowry Act and Remuneration Act. As per the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment, seats were also reserved for women into the local self-government. According to the makers of Indian Constitution, some constituents of the Indian society were deprived of dignity and equal opportunities due to the caste system. We have studied previously the Varna system. We also know the deprived classes. So Constitution given the reservation to those classes who are deprived, they should come with the flow of other caste, and they also should get equal status into society, and they should try to develop their status. The Kaka Saheb Kalelkar Commission was set up in 1953 to make recommendations so as improve their condition. In 1978, Commission was constituted under the chairmanship of B.P. Mandal to study the issue of the other backward classes. The policy of reservation was adopted in order to strengthen the representation of backward class sections in the various service and institutions. Today also we have a reservation for the backward classes. They also send their representative into that particular field. The government passed the Prevention of Atrocities Act in 1989. The Atrocity Act today newly formed and started into our country, but that mainly passed into the 1989 Atrocity Act enabled those belonging the scheduled caste and tribes to live with a dignity and respect, free from fear, violence and oppression of the upper classes. What is the Atrocity Act? The act which gives a right of strength and power to live fearlessly with the power, against the violence. You can find your rights from the, if anyone harassing you from upper classes, you can have the right and protection from the Atrocity Act. That very important one passed by Indian government for the scheduled tribes and scheduled castes, because they should live with a dignity. These changes we have studied just now into the social field. Now next we are going to study globalization. Now we will see the exact word and its meaning. The globalization. Globalization brought about many changes in different fields like economy, politics, science and technology, and society and culture. The exact meaning of the globalization is the modernization, the new changes. We have discussed some of these changes in the above paragraphs. India has emerged as an important country on a global scene. India has emerged as an important country on the global scene in the different spheres. India is an important member of international organizations like G20 and BRICS. Brazil, Russia, Iraq, these all Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, these are countries were included in BRICS. India has experienced an important revolution in the field of telecommunication and technology. Mobile phones, internet and the communication facilities based on satellite have spread all across the country. In the political field, India has demonstrated to the world how to stable democracy can function successfully. All this has resulted in the total transformation in the lifestyle of Indian and especially the youth. These changes are visible from their dietary habits, clothing and language and beliefs. The next chapter we are going to study some internal changes before India. Some internal challenges before India. Now we have studied the changes which were took place after 1960. Now some are the critical or important challenges that India must solve, that we are going to see in next chapter. Okay students, here we have finished the lesson second of history. Now we are going to see question answer exercise. So first we will see the fill in the blanks. Choose the right option and rewrite the sentences. The Prime Minister. First statement is the Prime Minister of India who took an initiative resolving the question of Tamil minority in Sri Lanka was dash dash dash. So here we have studied about many were there Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister of India. From that we got here four options. First option is Rajiv Gandhi, second Indira Gandhi. Next third one, C option is H.D. Devegowda, and fourth option is P.V. Narasimha Rao. If we mainly focus on work, first we will see the Narasimha Rao, Devegowda, Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi. We well know about their work, but mainly Rajiv Gandhi did the work to resolve the issues of minorities from Sri Lanka. So answer for the first question is Rajiv Gandhi. Now we will proceed towards second question. Dash dash is the father of Green Revolution in India. Dash dash is the father of Green Revolution in India. In India. The person who mainly focused on science and technology and used the many new machineries in agricultural field and tried to take a more production of food grains. So that person name we are going to see. So four options we have got here. So four that all I will read first. The first option is Dr. Verghese Kurien. Next one, Dr. Homi Bhabha, and next one, third option is MS Swaminathan, and next one is fourth option, Dr. Norman Borlaug. So here we can see Dr. MS Swaminathan is the answer for the second fill in the blanks, that he did the work to use advanced technology, means new machineries to take more agricultural food grain production, and he brought changes into the science and technology section. So he is called the father of green revolution in India. Now we are going to see identify the wrong pair. Next question, B question, identify the wrong pair. So in that, first I will write on board Indira Gandhi emergency. Now second point, Rajiv Gandhi development in science and technology. Third point, P.V. Narasimha Rao economic improvements. P.V. Narasimha Rao economic improvements. And last point one is Chandrasekhar Mandal Commission. So, to know the correct exact right pair, we will find out through the revising the knowledge of their particular person. First we will see the Indira Gandhi is one correct, that he started the emergency. We will see now about the Rajiv Gandhi development in science and technology. This one also correct because he given his valuable contribution. Now we will see about P.V. Narasimha Rao. So we will see here in the paragraph after the Prime Minister of Rajiv Gandhi. So here Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister of India. His government was short-lived during the election campaigns, and Tigers of Tamil assigned to Rajiv Gandhi was acquired before case. So here we can see the Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. So here we found the answer that fourth one is wrong pair, Chandrasekhar. That, and in front of that here we got the Mandal Commission, but exact answer in front of that, the short-lived government. So exact answer I will write here in front of Chandrasekhar, that short-lived government. So after the Prime Minister of after the Vishwanath Pratap, then after him the Chandrasekhar became the next Prime Minister, but his government also short-lived. So that's why the wrong pair is fourth one, Chandrasekhar Mandal Commission. So answer is Chandrasekhar in front of his short-lived government. So here we have seen the fill in the blanks and identify the wrong pair. In next lecture we will see the remaining part, the other questions from second lesson, and in that second, third and fourth globalization, give reason and answer the following question we will see into the next lecture. Thank you.